Well, hello there. We shall see who we've got. Don't be shy, do announce yourselves. I really must find something musical that's not going to cause copyright offence, just to get you guys warmed up. But I'll let you appear as you appear. Matt Dickens is appearing. Good evening, Matt Dickens. How are you? Austin Carter Fell is here. Good evening, Austin. Hello again. How are you both? Do say, has anything interesting happened today? Matt Ball is here. Good evening, Matt Ball, and welcome, Matt Ball. How are you? Very nice to meet you and your father a couple of weeks ago at POL. We'll let a few more come into the chat before I start going on about tonight's question. I've had a interesting week, shall we say? Yes, I had to be in Stoke Mandeville Hospital on Monday afternoon. Well, Monday afternoon and evening and night, which was not great because I've still got these pains in my stomach, which no one quite knows what they are. They thought it was diverticulitis, and that hasn't been ruled out. But I had CT scans and all sorts, and cannulas shoved in me, and yeah. So we'll just give it a minute. I've had a slight half frustrating and half excellent car day, which I shall elaborate on in due course. One of the people in the chat knows about this because he's involved in it. And yeah, we'll have a little update on that in a minute. But yeah, do tell me how you are. Do say what you've been up to. It's always interesting to know what people have been up to. Matt Dickens asks, guess what I am doing? Sitting on a desert island drinking a glass of Owatrol spritz, maybe? I don't know. Or could you be possibly making number plates? Because rumour has it you do that, Matt. Yeah, don't think I should get a prize for guessing that, should I, Matt? No, not at all. Right, people are beginning to emerge. People are beginning to emerge. I can see the count going up, so we'll just give it a couple more minutes before we start on tonight's. I don't know whether it's a debate or I don't know what you call it. A question. Very important, and of course, food related. What would you expect? So tonight's question is, which sauce should accompany steak? What are your preferences? If you have a preference, do you make it yourself or do you open a packet? Yeah. Tom HT, hello from Tales of a Spitfire. Hello, Tom. Tom and I have been corresponding about all things MG Rover because it would seem that the influencer beards and bangers is spreading, or one could call it a disease, perhaps. But yes, Tom and I have been corresponding. How are you, Tom? Thank you for joining. Welcome. So we've got two newbies, Matt Ball and Tom HT. Matt Ball, I will change my glasses. These are actually fake glasses, but they're just ridiculously sized. Do I look like Deirdre Barlow? Matt Ball has bought a TF 160 this week. Just been in the booth repainting the wings in Chagall. So are you repainting the wings? Are you repainting the wings in Chagall because it is a Chagall monogram TF 160? Stephen S. Paul has entered the chat. Good evening, Stephen S. Paul. How are you? Black Lines is here. Good evening. How are you? Matt Ball has got a monogram TF 160, which he's bought this week and has already started work on by respraying the wings. That sounds really good, Matt. Look forward to seeing some pictures of that. Yeah, monogram. Oh, monograms. Lovely. Yes. So yes, Monday was a bit of a write-off. So I worked at home in the morning, and then I thought, right, I'm going to go to the doctor at lunchtime and see what's going on with my bloody stomach. I've still got this weird pain. It's not painful; it's just annoying. And they sent me to the hospital, and I was luckily I wasn't in A&E. I was in a surgical assessment unit. So I was in a big comfy chair, but I couldn't eat anything, and I was absolutely bloody starving. Cannula in my arm. I did put a picture on Instagram. So I had cannula in my arm. They prodded and poked me around and going, where's the pain then? And they're jabbing their fingers in my stomach. Yeah, it's in my stomach. Where you're poking is hurting and it's making it worse. So I've they can't find anything wrong. So I've got to go back for further tests. One of which is having a camera inserted in my anus, which I am absolutely looking forward to. So what I thought was an exit is going to be used. They're going to have a look inside my colon and see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be in there. So apologies if anyone's eating, but that was Monday. Tuesday, I went to work, and that was just a normal day. And then today I've been to work, and then went this afternoon once I finished work to collect my ZT260 from the paint shop where it's had its wing and a few other bits resprayed. And the guy said, "Oh, the clutch is a bit iffy." So I got in it, going to drive it. I was going to drive it home and then drive it to Austin's to have a bit more work done. Got in it. Oh, that clutch pedal doesn't feel right because there wasn't a clutch. So I had to. Luckily, the body shop's got their own recovery truck, so it's been recovered up to AJF, and hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully it's a hydraulic issue with the clutch. But the good news is, after being off the road since the 3rd or 4th of January, Husley Bear, my MG ZT 190, got to get this right, otherwise I get the wrong number and then I get told off by you observant people. My 190 passed its MOT today. I took it for a 30-40 mile drive this evening, and it's going really well. I've forgotten what a lovely car that is. I've forgotten how much it's come on this is a £400 wreck that I bought last June. And I've done a little bit to it, but Austin, who's in the chat, has done most of the work and has done a pucker job, and it's driving really, really nicely. So it's a nice car to be in. That is for sure. So I've said hello to Black Lines. Matt confirms he's monogram 160. Tom HT says, looking at classifiers is definitely disease. Haha. Yeah, I am guilty guilty of looking at classified ads on a more than daily basis. It's a disease and addiction. It's not discussed. It's these issues aren't highlighted. Um, where have we got to? Where have we got to? Yeah, yeah. Danger, falling rocks, black lines. Yeah, um, something could happen when that camera goes up. Um, Pingu Concord is here. Good evening, Pingu Concord. How are you, sir? Good evening, Sir Rob. Hope you are feeling better today. Sorry I'm late. Was just watching Simon's trip to zoo video. Yes, I watched that a little earlier. Yes, very interesting that there are actually dinosaurs in Yorkshire. Who would have thought it? Yeah, very good video from Simon from Project MGTF. Will of the fans, another newbie, someone I know from where I used to live and I haven't seen for an awful long time. Hello, Will. How are you? The beer here is pretty good. Just not in that pub that we used to go to back in the day. Back in the day, sir. Pingu says, sounds like I'm having similar clutch issues to Furious Matt in his Volvo. It was exactly that. So if any of you watched Furious Driving, Matt's done a road trip to Sweden via France, Belgium, Netherlands, Deutschland, and Denmark, and he was getting the car ready to go, and clutch wasn't doing anything. So I'm hoping that it is the master cylinder and that it can be fixed very easily. I hope. But the 260 was due to go back in this week anyway, because I managed to acquire the correct air filter. Because you've probably seen in my videos that the air filter, you've got that kind of snaking duct that comes from the throttle body over the engine, and then down, and it goes back. Should go back up, and then round, and the cold air should come from the offside wheel arch. Either it's been damaged in a club. The car has been crashed in the past. We know that. So either it's been damaged. They just chucked a cone in the wrong place. So I probably said it, before. The cone's kind of facing downwards. So deep puddle, and the car's gonna ingest water really easily. But I've managed to get the bits that are missing, basically. So we're going to slap those on and see if it improves the running any. Look at the fueling, filter, pump, possibly the injectors, and the clutch was going to be looked at as well, because it was getting harder and harder to engage gears, including getting stranded in the middle of junctions, which was fun. So the car was going to go in anyway. So it's not stopped me doing anything. It was always part of the plan, but it was just I would have liked to have driven the car to the garage rather than have to go on the back of a truck. But it was a night. I went in a lorry today. It was really exciting, and very slow. But yeah, very similar, very lengthy comment there to Pingu's comment about it sounding like Matt from Furious Driving's Vovlov. Stephen S. Paul salutes Pingu Concord with some pictures of aeroplanes. Wonderful. I love these emojis. I can't do them on this laptop, or I probably can, but I've no idea how to. But there we are. Matt Dickens says MGs and their hydraulics, eh? Yeah. And of course, the 260's got completely different hydraulics to every other MG. Pingu Concord says that he is feeling quite smug today, as my son has just passed his driving test, even though I have been the one teaching him. Well, that's very self-effacing, Pingu. I think, number one, congratulations to your son. It's quite something. I remember passing my test when I was 17, miraculously. 'cause I didn't know the highway code. So I did my test. I had a couple of not advisories, whatever the little not non-serious black marks are. And yeah, I had a few of those. But you part. Yeah, that's all gone really well. I'm going to test you on the highway code now. And I was like, oh fuck, I haven't even looked at the highway code. So he started showing me these obscure road signs that I had never seen before and uh, have never seen since in the 28 years I've been driving. 27 years. I won't age myself too much. Um, and I said, I don't know, mate, don't know, mate. And he goes, okay, well, you've passed. Just make sure you read the highway code before you go on the road, laddie. And that was it. So yeah, back in the day when it wasn't no theory test, nothing like that. Just get out there and actually start learning to drive in my mum's Volvo. Uh, and damaging it the first time I took it out. Anyway, that aside, well done, Pingu. Well done, Master Pingu, as well. That is absolutely fantastic. Pingu responds to Stephen S. Paul with some various emojis. And no one's done a poo emoji yet, which is very disappointing. So if someone would like to do a poo emoji, because I can't do one on this particular laptop. Will says, nice to see you, old pal. Nice to see you, kind of, old pal. Thank you, Will. Two, yeah, Myth those days, great times. Thank you. Yeah, my channel is growing. Yours is as well. I know you've had a bit of a break, but because you've got other stuff going on, I know, but yeah, it's good that you're here, and we've got two or three newbies in the B&B live stream tonight, which is fantastic. And Will's done a poo emoji for me, thank you. And so has Tom HT, and he's done multiple poos. And multiple poos like that are the reason I had to go to the doctors in the first place. So Pingu's problem is now, however, that he's got to pay for his insurance £3,000. God bloody hell. What's that on, Pingu? What car are you what car are you insuring him on? That's a shed load of money. Will, big love to you too, mate. Yeah, nice for you to pop on. Yeah, I know it's late where you are, so you get some shut eye, sir. And Matt echoes my question. Matt Ball echoes my question. Christ, what are you insuring him on? Matt Dickens says 1.1 Fiesta, but we'll let Pingu answer that, unless you know, of course, Matt. But I could, yeah, I'm sure it might. So when I first got my bread van, my Polo bread van, I was paying. I reckon it was under 1,000. It was definitely under 1,000. But that's 20. Well, whenever 1996 was, 27 years ago. Here we are. Pingu says an R33 Skyline. No, yeah, but no, a Rover 211. Goodness, so I mean they're supposed to, so Rover 211s were known for their cheap insurability for young drivers, and I think that was one of the ways that Rover pitched that model, was that the fact it was really cheap to insure. But maybe £3,000 a year is cheap for a 17, 18. I'm guessing your son's around that age, Pingu. Maybe that's what it is now to insure someone of that age. I don't know. I don't know. Mad Dickens wasn't far off, although 1.1 Fiesta Rover 211. I know what I'd have gone for. Tom HT says one of my favourite things about the Spitfire is the free tax and low insurance costs. Insurance for my Honda Jazz this year definitely surprised me. I think everyone's insurance has gone up. I know even so I've just renewed the 260, and that's on a classic policy, and that's gone up by 50 quid, which for a classic policy is a lot. So that's now just north of 200 quid to insure that for the year. Yeah, so classic policies, Tom, you're right, they're definitely cheaper. They'd be cheaper still for me if I had a driveway. Parking them on the road. It's weird with classic insurance. So Lancaster will insure some things as a classic with the on-street parking, but not others. Whereas Footman James will insure other things on the street on a classic policy. So there's not a lot of consistency with the classic providers. But yeah, I know my what have I? Yeah, the 190, that's on a regular policy because regular ZTs are not classics, or you can't get them on a classic policy. And that's gone up as well. And that's just on a yeah, standard policy. But Pingu will be shopping around. Yeah, you're gonna have to. And do tell us, Tom HT, if you don't mind me asking, what you pay for your Spitfire annually, because it's interesting to see what other people are paying. And you obviously being a younger man, I don't know whether you're on it with your dad as well, but Tom H. I'll just point to Tom HT and I correspond on Instagram, and we met. We had a lovely meeting and chat at Pride of Longbridge. And I think I said to someone the other day that, the biggest thing for me with Pride of Longbridge, I know some people are sort of detract it a little bit, and other people absolutely go wild for it. I'm in the middle because I think for me it's a really good way to meet like minds. That's the biggest thing about it. That's my overarching comment, being a POL virgin, or not anymore, because it's been Cofton Park has taken my virginity. That was the big thing for me was the making new friendships, contacts, networking, whatever you call it, what you will. Matt Dickens says insurance is crazy for new young drivers. Matt Dickens this week, those of you who are eagle-eyed will notice that Beards and Bangers has had a slight rebrand. And that rebrand is courtesy of number plate and graphic design legend, Matt Dickens. So thank you, Matt, for your new logo. And we're going to test that out on some stickers, which I think you're busily beavering away at in between number plates. I'm just imagining you beavering like a beaver now with stickers, which could be probably get stuck on their paws, wouldn't it? If beavers were letting in stickers. But anyway, that's really silly. Yeah, so Matt Dickens is responsible for I'm responsible, obviously, because I could have said no, but Matt came up with a slightly revamped logo, which I think better reflects the channel, because we definitely feature more bangers than beards. It should be beard and bangers, really, shouldn't it? But it's too late for that now. Pingu's son is 17 with a silly goatee beard. No beard is silly. No beard is silly. That's all beards are welcome on Beards and Bangers. Tom says felt like Google when the Spitz tax renewal form arrived. Yeah, it's it must be nice. It must be nice. It's been a while for me since I've had a tax and MOT exempt car. Samuel Tyrrell is in the chat. Good evening, Samuel. I know you're not a newbie, because I know you've lurked on my live stream in the past. But Samuel is Austin's colleague at AJF Motor Engineers. We have Austin, Sam, and I have lovely chats about various things, mainly cars and stuff. But hello, Sam, and welcome in a more formal way. And Sam was the one. Sam is the fine young chap who drove Bram, my BRM, to Pride of Longbridge, which was really nice. Yes, so I'm hoping to take Bram north at the weekend, but Bram may not be going north now, because Bram may be getting some new rear shock absorbers, because Bram's rear end is, a firm rear end is desirable, but Bram's rear end is rock hard, and even the slightest bump is not good. I don't really fancy that with my delicate tum tum at the moment. Right, Tom gets into some detail about Spitfire insurance. Spitfire insurance, including breakdown, was around £100 last year. Only put it down for 2,000 miles a year. Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? To getting good, just to keep that mileage well down. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. So yeah, I'm paying 170 a year on the TF. So yeah, 100 is good. Stephen S. Paul starts tantalizing us already so early in the evening, only just past the watershed. Lots of new inventory this week. We sold a pair. So we were like scratching our heads here a week or two ago about Subaru Brats. I couldn't even think about what one looked like. I now do know, because I'm a diligent YouTuber. I made a note about Subaru Brats, went away and Google searched it, and I now know what a Subaru Brat looks like. And I do remember seeing them here, but not many. But you've sold a pair of Subaru Brats, £6,000 for the pair, £3,000 per Brat, and that's not a dollars. Sorry, I wasn't making aspersions about Pingu's son. £3,000 was the insurance, $3,000 per car for Stephen S. Paul's Subaru Brats. Dinosaur Dad is here. Good evening, Dinosaur Dad. Morning, Rob. It's morning for Dinosaur Dad, because of course he is in Australia. Hope you are well. Some good content from you recently. Thank you. It's nice to have that kind of feedback, and I do appreciate your comments, and as well as everyone's. Yes, thank you. Yeah, there's something coming out Friday, I think, next video, which is me driving the TF, so people can, because I've had a request, so they want my thoughts on driving a TF, and I will be doing a full review on a TF fairly soon, but not my own one. And you get a prize for guessing whose TF I'm going to be reviewing. But I want to get part of my mission is to do different varieties of TF, and then all the R40, so the Rover R40 platform variants. So that's all the 75s and ZTs. So I think so far we've done obviously my own 190, Dan's lovely 75 2.5 litres times 2, and the 1.8 club that I took out a couple of months ago, which I really liked. Just the normally aspirated 1.8. It was lovely. But yes, welcome, Dinosaur Dad. It must be half past. I'm guessing it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning down there, which obviously a.m. is morning, so I'm talking bollocks already. Samuel Tyrrell says, thank you very much for gifting me the pleasure to drive the BRM. Was lovely. Anytime, young man. And it did look good. You cleaned it very nicely for me. And I hear it was quite fun on the motorway with lots of power, which is good. So that air filter, obviously the air filter that I put in it has made a massive difference. Pingu says, nice work on the headlining job, sir. My 218s need your skills. Yeah, I'm actually, it's something I have often put off or delegated. So the 190 needed doing. So Austin did that because I was kind of scared. But now I've done one. And okay, the TF hardtop headlining is quite easy because you've got four fixings to remove, and you just pull it out of the door. It's really easy. So the next one I'll be doing is the BRM. I might do it with help, but but I'm actually quite looking forward to doing it now, and getting covered in glue. Simone is in the house with Robster. I haven't been called that for a really long time, but you can call me that, Simone. Good evening, Simone. How are you? Excuse me. Right, what's Stephen S. Paul moistening me with now? Sorry to use that word. I know a lot of people don't like the word moist. Um, but yes, I'll tell you about my compost bin later because that wasn't moist. Stephen S. Paul drove a 1960 Triumph R10 wagon, which has just arrived, burns oil and stinks to high hell. Some cracked glass, but very solid. I might buy it. Sounds perfect. Triumph R10 wagon, blimey. Pingu greets Simone. Matt states that Lisa and I said you are welcome to pop over and test the ZR160. Would love to, because my first video was the ZR160, but it was shit because it was my first video and I had a crappy camera and didn't really plan what I was going to say. And then ended up making funny jokes about agricultural things that weren't actually that funny. But Matt and Lisa's lovely ZR160 in monogram. Twilight. Have I got that wrong? Sorry if I have. Sorry, I'm bad with car colors. I'm really, really bad with car colors, unless it's obvious, like X Power Grey or Wedgwood Blue or something like that. I get very confused. The PPD 25, oh yeah, and the ZS18. I love ZS 180s. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a busy summer at this rate because I've got making quite a few contacts of people who want reviews. So I made a couple of acquaintances at Drive It Day over at the mini factory at Cowley on Sunday, which I'll expand upon in a minute. But yeah. Simone says hello to Pingu and everyone. Demons says hello to Simone. Hello. Simone is okay. Thank you. That's good. Any progress on Connie's paint, or is that in abeyance? But Matt Ball is in the house, Simone. So he's someone I could possibly put you in touch with about paint. But Matt, speaking of Matt, he's just done the ZS headlining. I said I wouldn't touch another one after my ZT, but gave it another go. That's the spirit. I like that. That's good. And it's just getting on and doing it. I said it took me 2 weeks to do mine. A, because I was busy with other stuff, and B, I had to wait for material, and C, I was just like, I've got to get on and do this, and I did, and it was worth it. I didn't have the previous headlining in the TF. I'll demonstrate with this wash mitt just because it's something I can grab really quickly. But the headlining, if you imagine, it was literally sitting on my head like that. So if I drove the car and the suspension being quite firm, my ball patch was actually getting buffed inadvertently by the TF's headlining. So whilst the car looked shit, my ball patch was radiant when I emerged from said car. Anyway, enough of that silliness. But yeah, well done, Matt. BRM next. Just got to find the right material. I don't want to just put any material in that. It's got to be the correct beigey grey. Beigey grey for the BRM, definitely. Unless I had this strange thought that occurred to me about 11 o'clock, just as the pubs kicked out. No, I hadn't been drinking. About having like a red headlining in the BRM. Would that be too much red though? I sort of said no. I can't. I want to keep the car looking like it should, looking like it came out of the factory. But if anyone thinks I should consider or reconsider having a matching red headlining in the BRM, then do tell me that you think I'm a fucking idiot. Back to the comments. Dinosaur Dad says, what does everyone think of Joseph's new Volvo purchase? I like it. I will let others answer that. I've not had a chance to watch much YouTube. Because I've been doing my own stuff and work and other bits and bobs as well. But I'm seriously behind, because I always try and make a point of watching the sort of our community channels first. So Hooked on Classics, Robson Rover Repair, Project MGTF, Boaty's World, Project Nigel, blah blah blah. So our kind of little community. But yeah, I do like to watch Furious and Lloyd vehicle consulting as well. Beige leather interior. Doesn't say that though, does he? Anything can sound seductive if you say it like that. But yeah, let the room. Dinosaur Dad will let the room say what they think and just spoil the video for me because I've not watched it yet. But I may not have time to watch it, so I might learn something. Tom says I'm more than welcome to review the Spit at some point. When I eventually bite the bullet and start driving at longer distances, it would be a pleasure. Thank you so much for the kind offer. Simone has not touched it. That's referring to Connie's paint. Rover Joe says, hey up, Rover Joe. How are they? Samuel Tyrrell, red headliner should 100% be considered. It would be great. Okay. And this is someone from a young man who has taste in cars. Hooked and Classics hasn't seen Joseph's video either. Austin Carterfeld says red diamond stitch to match the seats. Another gentleman who has good taste in cars. So, okay. Samuel Tyrrell says, yeah, to that, which is great. Matt Dickens says, does it have a beige leather interior? Beige leather interior. It's got to have a beige leather interior, hasn't it? And I think there's a good chance on a Volvo. A very good chance. Metallic navy blue Volvos with that really, it's not even beige with the Volvos. It's a real yellowy leather. It's almost like the BMW color, similar, that real yellowy beige. I didn't realize there's more than one shade of beige, to be honest, but clearly there is, thinking about it. Hooked on Simone tried to sort 2 jobs on TC yesterday and failed both. Did you video it? I think there's nothing wrong with doing a fail. Like when I was trying to fit a Rover radio to my Rover 216 and realized that I ordered the wrong radio. Stephen S. Paul, thumbs up to red headlining. Yeah, okay, all right. Leather headlining. I think one of you lads from AJS is going to have to volunteer to help me with that, especially if you probably buy one stitched. But I imagine leather's probably quite fun to get into nooks and crannies. Joe is well. That's good. Joe's been busy today, which is also good. You can tell us what you've been busy doing. Pingu asks, what do you think of this personalized reg? T11PHB. It's on an MGF I may be purchasing next week. Ooh. I think that's quite a nice plate. Is that already is it personalized or is it just a T plate? PHB. I like it. Sounds good. Yeah. It actually does. Yeah, I think the red headlining is getting. Simone filmed her jobs and her fails, which is excellent. There's nothing wrong with, I don't think, having a YouTube video that doesn't go perfectly. I think it's good to show the raw reality of maintaining cars oneself, or saying, Austin, Sam, when you've not done the work yourself because someone else has done it, which I hopefully do in my videos. Rover Joe has fitted a new heater resistor on his 25, done the throttle position sensor, and sorted some rust out on his Civic. Gonna start filming more bits for the Civic. Gonna get a collection of videos together for restoration purposes. Marvelous. That sounds absolutely wonderful. Jimmy Quinn is here. Good evening, Jimmy. How are you? I hope you're well. Do tell us anything interesting you've done, driven, eaten. We like to know all that kind of stuff. Pingu asked a question. Do you think they are trying to say to pub? It could be, couldn't it? It could be in Simon. To pub. Yeah, it's a very interesting. I wonder what that person, the original owner's name was. Was it Percival Hector Balthazar, something like that. Yeah, could be someone like that, couldn't it? Jimmy's okay. That's good. And Jimmy says hello to Simone. Matt then asks Rover Joe about something. TPS are also used on Fords. Found that getting one for a mid-90s Granada Scorpio. Found that out, sorry, getting one for a mid-90s Granada Scorpio. Dinosaur Dad says yes to beige leather interior. Saggy headliners, of course, it's Joseph Lloyd. It's got to have a beige leather interior. Saggy headliners can be held up with drawing pins. They work a treat. Got them in my Falcon Ute. Yeah, I did have the 190 headlining was held up by drawing pins, which then, because the whole headlining had sagged, the pins would drop out, normally behind my back, and then work their way down to my bottom. And the drawing pin would then embed in my buttock. Was painful and quite shocking when one is on a dual carriageway doing 70 miles an hour, which is the speed that I go on dual carriageways at, apart from the time I got done for speeding a few weeks ago. Pingu Concord says the MGF has a beige leather interior with half timbered steering wheel. Also, that sounds nice. What color? Have you already said what color it is? No, you haven't. So, what color's the paint? Pingu, tell us, because I think beige leather interiors do work, but only with certain exterior colors. Yeah. But yeah, Rover 75 with a beige leather interior, lovely. Volvo, BMW. Yeah. Jimmy says poor drawing pin. Yeah, anything embedded in my buttock, I feel sorry for it myself. Tom HT says, what made you try more modern classics after having some of the BL cars? I've had a range of cars over my time. I'd not documented them very well on photographs. So I think I must have borrowed a camera in the late 2000s and started taking pictures like the Dolomite and the P6 and other things I had at that time. But I wasn't very good at taking pictures. Even though I like taking pictures. So yeah, there's kind of bits, but I've had modern Rover MG Rovers before, just never kind of photographed them, talked about them, or certainly made YouTube videos. I'm only making YouTube videos for just coming up for a year. It's a year next week, a year Monday, with my first YouTube video. So I've not been doing it that long. But God, try and stop me now. But yeah, no, I've kind of I don't know. Yeah, I've really settled on the modern stuff now. I do get excited by certain of the sort of 60, 70 stuff. Rover P6s excite me. SD1s excite me. They're the ones if I see one come up for sale, I'll be like, oh, should I? And then think better of it, because they're not as cheap to buy anymore. Tahiti blue, my favorite normal Rover color. Yeah, blue and beige. Sounds good. Look forward to seeing some piggies of that Pingu. Rover Joe asks, am I off? Or this could be to anyone. Are you off to the Furious Driving Meet on Sunday? I am heading north on Saturday morning. I'm meeting up with Project MGTF. We're going to spend some time together, just doing what we do, which makes it sound really mysterious and potentially seedy, but it's not. And then I'm staying in Sherbert in Helmet, or whatever it's called, the place up there near Leeds, on Saturday night in an old pub. Hopefully, it's better than the hotel I stayed in Longbridge, which was quite frankly terrifying. And yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Are you going, Rover Joe? And is anyone else going? So if anyone's going to Matt from Furious Driving's meet at the Motorist in Sherbert in Helmet, which is really painful because it's acidic. No, Sherburn in Elmet on Sunday this week. So Sunday next week, however you want to put it. Sunday the what will it be? 30th of April. Then do put it down here because it'd be lovely to if you're there, if you're going to be there, and I've not met you or have or you're going to be there and I have met you, then we can have a chat, which would be fantastic. Excuse me. Simone asks, what is the worst MG Rover paint color? Don't know. It's not one of the things they got. It's one of the better things they did, isn't it? The paint. The paint colors are pretty decent. I think anthracite is quite nondescript because it's like you look at an anthracite ZT. I'm thinking of one that's up the road at the moment, and you're like, what color is that? Because pearl black, PBT, pearl black is nice. X Power Grey, as you know, is one of my favorite colors. But yeah, anthracite's kind of a bit. It's a bit of a sitting on the fence color, I think. So I know some people do like it, but it's probably my least favorite, just because it's not. It doesn't seem to be trying to say anything. And for me, anthracite is a different. Anthracite is nearer X Power Grey in RAL colors. Matt Dickens will no doubt, and maybe Rover Joe will correct me on my use of the word RAL or RAL. But yeah, for me, anthracite is RAL 7016, which I only know because a lot of windows and building components are in that color. So, but yeah, those of you who have a graphic design bent, then please do tell me if I've got the anthracite color wrong there. Where have we gotten to? So that's my anthracite's my least favorite. Simone, it's a good question, Simone, actually. So if anyone else has got any least favorites, then please whack them in the chat. Stephen S. Paul says one of his 70 Cortina wagons is triple beige, including the added-on vinyl roof. Triple beige exterior. Now, beige exteriors. That's yeah. I'm still having almost wet dreams about that beige Morris Ital that I saw at POL. It's lovely. Certain cars, P60s should be brown, tobacco leaf, or what's the other brown P6 color? Oh God! So this is why I'm useless at remembering colors. Samuel Tyrrell doesn't look like trophy yellow. I think trophy yellow. Yeah, it's not. I know it's trophy yellow divides opinion. Simone says that Furious is too far away for my liking, and so that is a serious schlep for you. It's enough for me. I think it's nearly 200 miles for me. But yeah, either the 190 or the BRM does need a good workout. So whichever one I go up there in the end is it's a reason. Hopefully I come back with a clutch, because I went through Banter. I had a spate of things go wrong in threes, don't they? Or they say things go wrong in threes. So I think over the winter I had 3 batteries go wrong in the space of a week, terminally, and that's a really bad battery pun. Or maybe it's very good. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm just hoping that I don't have 3 clutches go. Touch wood. Piggy says, my dad had a similar butt investigation recently, and he said although it was uncomfortable, it was all over in 5 minutes. Many of the best things are all over in 5 minutes or less. I've also been told that you can have a sedative as well, which I might go for. Rover Joe is going. It's about 18 miles away from him. So yeah, you've not got quite as far to go as I have. But that's good. We'll have a say hello there, Joe. Be nice to you. And are you going? What car are you going in? Are you going in the Gold 25, which is really nice? If any of you know Rover Joe and his channel or his car, cars. Sorry, he's got a very nice gold Rover 25, which my muddy 260 was parked up next to a couple of weeks ago. Jimmy Quinn says light blue is his worst MG Rover colour. So that Wedgwood stroke ski blue. I don't think there's any other pale blue Rover MG Rover colours, unless you count trophy blue as a pale blue. Mad Dickens says worst colour to look at or worst to match. Now here's the artist, diving deeper. So we'll let Simone clarify what she wants to know there, Matt. But Simone says she was never a fan of the olive green one. Is that Le Mans green? Is that the olive green? Again, I'm just crap with colours. So someone more knowledgeable say about the olive green one. Was it actually just called olive green? Rover Joe's not a fan of silver. Don't tell Boaty. Oh dear me. That guy loves his silver car, doesn't he? It's that's quite a prerequisite to have. To be honest, I'm just glad if they run and drive. Stephen S. Paul says a neighbour had a Nada spec 81 SD1, complete with the American style 4-bulb headlight setup, and I have a 68 Rover P6 TC twin carb manual box. What? That's lovely. Does the TC also have the Nada bonnet with the vents? I know the V8s did, to try and aid vaporization. I think it was for they had a bit of a scoop in the bonnet. Does your 2000 or 2200 TC have a Nada bonnet as well? But sounds very nice. Pingu Concord says flame red fades to pink within a couple of years. If you smear it with Owatrol or teacup, though, does it come back? Matt Ball says my ZS is anthracite. If it's not polished up, it can look awful. Yeah, maybe I need to see a polished one. I was right. Yes, I got a color thing right. RAL 7016 is anthracite, and I think RAL 7016 is a lot more grey than the MG Rover anthracite interpretation. Rover just is russet and clove brown. I'm trying to picture those colours now. Are you talking about modern MG Rovers, or are we going back into BL days? Matt says RAL 9005 FTW. What's that? Is that the RAL for the Rover anthracite? Matt Ball's least favorite is platinum silver. Yeah, some people do not like silver cars, do they? I'm on the fence with silver. It doesn't offend me, but it's not. I wouldn't go out of my way to, buy a silver car. Rover Joe will be in his Gold 25. Red R8 is currently hibernating still. Look forward to seeing the Gold 25 again. It is a lovely car. Pingu is going to have some anchovy stuffed olives, which, as we discussed last week or the week before, are his favourite snack. Also one of my favourite snacks as well. I just love the umami-ness of anchovies. Rover Joe's Civic is silver, but I will let it off as the VTI didn't have many colour choices. Fair enough. Simone says silver is a boring colour. Shh, for a modern car. Do I have a silver car? Have I forgotten about having a silver car? No, I don't think so. I don't think Simon's in the chat, and I don't think Boaty's in the chat. So yeah, we can. Oh no, we can't say what we like about silver cars because, of course, Austin Carterfell has got a silver car. A very nice MG ZR. Yes, but yeah, so you are biased. Of course you are. We are biased. That's why I love X Power Grey, because I happen to have two and have had 3 or 4 ex-Power Grey cars. Um, got to be the right silver though. Yes, this is true. It's got to be. I think silver's got to pop if you're going to have a silver car. I don't mean the exhaust. Tom says he's had 6 cars and half of them have been silver. Now I'm trying to seriously think what silver cars I have had. I had a Vectra that was silver, and that was pretty pants. That was like would it be the last shape Vectra? It was a 2003. I got it new because it was the last of the non-common rail diesel Vauxhall diesel engines, so they were selling them off quite cheap. And this thing was a barge. It was like I've never experienced so much roll in a corner than in that thing. And it had the engine management light would come on. It would go into limp mode at the most inopportune moments. And the Vauxhall, it was under warranty, of course, and so they had to put it right free of charge. And they just got fed up with me in the end. So I think I got rid of that and got a Saab instead. Yeah. Yeah, but nothing wrong with silver. Nothing wrong with silver cars. There's nothing wrong with them, unless you don't like them, in which case they're offensive, and nasty. Dinosaur Dad has he's got top trumps, a silver Camry, boring ×2 lol. Do they work? Do you like them? Do they get you Do they get you where you need to be? It's subjective, isn't it? It's subjective. Simone says Pete C has a silver 1972 Cortina that looks epic. I imagine it would do because silver probably wasn't that common a color in the 70s, especially in the early 70s, if at all. So I imagine that does. Yeah, I can see that actually, and that does sound rather nice. Matt Dickens, ever the consummate artist and number plate legend, amongst other things, says Tempest Grey is the correct name for X-Power Grey. That's interesting because, of course, X-Power was the subsidiary tuning division of the MG Rover. Was it an MG Rover Group subsidiary, or was it a Rover Group subsidiary? I think it was MG Rover. So Tempest Grey is what you'd have gone, I want that one in the brochure when you were in the dealer. Good info, Matt. That's the kind of little nugget I like. Tom H. Silver is handy when it comes to cleaning them. Yeah, they're quite forgiving, aren't they? With muck and filth. As is Tempest Grey. Do you agree that the color doesn't come up as well though? I've never kind of paint corrected or got that excited about any silver color. So the only one I can think of is the Vectra, and I certainly never polished that because I spent most of my time swearing at it. Yeah, have I had any other silver cars and kind of got them spruced up? Don't know. Ask someone who's got a silver car. If it doesn't come up as well, I think any car looks nice if you polished it. But how much difference it makes to a silver car, I don't know. Pingu Concord says, have I ever driven a Mark IV Toyota Supra? I have driven a Toyota Supra, yes. Was it a Mark? I'm pretty sure it was a Mark IV. It was very nice, very thirsty. It was certainly a spicy meatball, to quote someone else, Pingu. It was, but it was, I remember the fuel. The fuel didn't last long, particularly the way I was driving it. But I'm pretty sure it was a Mark IV. But very nice Supras. Very expensive now. Matt's first TF. Matt Ball, sorry. I must get that right because we've got more than one Matt in the chat. Matt's first TF was a Starlight Silver. I don't think I'd like. I didn't think I'd like it, but after I gave it a polish and ceramic coat, it looked fantastic. But equally, I don't think Starlight looks as good on anything else. There we are. So that answers Tom's question. Starlight on a 75 or a ZT. I think the ZTs do look quite nice. Yeah, I've seen a couple of ZT 260s in Starlight recently, and I think they do look all right. 75s, we have to be careful what we say because Simon from Project MGTF has a silver Starlight Silver Rover 75. And I think the wheels make a difference as well. The wheels you've got, especially with an MG Rover, do make a difference to how the body color looks, or more accurately, vice versa. So choosing the right wheels to go with your body color is quite an important thing. Pingu says his Streetwise looks good in its metallic blue. Can't remember the code. Will look even better after an Owatrol session on its bumpers. Oh yeah. I saw it was a Starlight Silver Streetwise at Cowley on Sunday. And I am convinced, I didn't actually find who the owner was, but I am convinced they had the Owatrol out because its bumpers were so deep and rich. And I really am considering buying a Streetwise, but it's got to be an L series diesel. It's got to be. I don't know why. I'm just drawn to owning an L series Streetwise. But an Owatrol session. Speaking of which, I'm just going to have a slurp of Owatrol now. I've gone neat this week rather than with soda water because I don't think you should dilute something that someone has spent years crafting. I think it's out of order. Jimmy Quinn asked a question to the whole room, and I haven't. I need to revisit my question about steak. In a second. What is Jimmy's question is, what is the best car you have driven? And that's to everybody. So I will give you a little chance to get your little fingers clacking on the little keyboard. I will come back on mine. I will give it some thought. But Austin Carterfeld says, so his is Starlight Silver, and polishing it makes a little difference, but we'll find out when I machine polish it. Yeah, I think machine polishing is definitely, yeah, that's the kind of acid test, isn't it? Is to really get that polish, get it into the paint so it actually does do something. Of course, after thoroughly cleansing that paintwork and clay barring it to remove any impurities. I don't know if any of you spoke to the German chap with the right-hand drive German ZR at Pride of Longbridge, but he was telling me that car, someone had actually, I might be repeating myself here, so if I am, tell me to shut the fuck up. But I'm pretty sure he was telling me that someone had actually just machine polished that car without washing it and completely knackered the paintwork. Clever. Stephen S. Paul, his P6 is blue with a black leather interior. Got to stay on top of interiors in general around here due to the darn heat. And yes, silver is a popular colour out here. Is that because it looks good, Stephen, or is it because it reflects the heat and it stops it getting too hot? What do you use to care for your leather? How do you protect your leather from that heat? That's something I was thinking about this week. The BRM's leather looks good, but also looks quite dry. So I'm going to be giving it some treatment. Yeah. Pingu says HJ is Pingu's Rover 45. I've got that right, haven't I, Pingu? I'm sure I have. And that's in Starlight Silver. And it does look all right. Yeah, 45 in that color. Yeah. Just not Vectras. Not a silver Vauxhall Vectra. Tom says the best car he's driven is the Spitfire, but absolutely loved having go in a mate's TF that I very nearly ended up buying. I think you are going to buy a TF, Tom. He also goes on to say that he had a nice hire car once, Toyota Yaris Hybrid. Sorry, he had not a nice one, a hire car once, Toyota Yaris Hybrid, and absolutely hated it because it had way too many bells and whistles on it. Didn't feel like I was driving. Worst bit was the electric handbrake. Just doesn't sound any fun. The car drives itself, and you can't do a handbrake turn. Why'd they make that car? It's ridiculous. Yeah, my work van, which is a leased vehicle, so it's not mine, is silver. Yeah, and I've never polished that. Well, I do have it washed. I say have it washed. I never wash it myself. I have it washed once a week, that particular vehicle. And that's the same. It's got so many bells and whistles on. It's got lane assist. So if it thinks you're drifting, it jerks the steering wheel, which I don't like. I think I've said this before, maybe on one of the formative chats on this channel. But yeah, adaptive cruise control, so it stops you tailgating people. Hasn't got an electric handbrake, but yeah, too many bells and whistles. Cars should be driven. Rover's leather care balm. Yeah, I think that's what I've got. It's the Auto Glim stuff. I'm sure I have to go and look in the shed, but yes, I need to treat all my any leather parts that I've got. I don't want to start rumors. No, leather parts in the cars that I've got. So the BRM seats, the little bits of leather on the ZTs, and the leather seats on the TF. Actually, yeah, I need to do all my cars apart from the ZTT, which is sitting abandoned, having been used and abused by me. Matt Dickens, that Twilight ZR was in a right 2.8 a couple of years ago. We were going to buy it and bring it back to the UK. So I think that guy's he's bought it and not brought it back to the UK, obviously, because he's German. But he's obviously spent a lot of time, money, and attention sorting it out. But yeah, it sounded like someone did not look after it. Yeah, it is nice to see it's been sorted rather than scrapped or broken. Why is this thing on Facebook groups where they're selling a car, and I think if you're selling any car at the moment, you've got to be patient. Cars don't walk out of the door anymore. There's a lot on the market, or there's more on the market than there was. People are fussy because they're not buying new cars so much; they're buying second-hand cars more, including our modern classics. Those of us on here who are, MG Rover type people. I say that, but my 216 sold in less than a week. I think that was just the right car in the right place at the right time. But yeah, I think generally cars just take a little bit longer to sell. You have to be patient. They will sell, but just don't expect the messages to start straight away. But what's the thing? If I don't sell this car by the weekend, I'm gonna break it. It's this. I know sometimes you've got to sell something because you got to pay for something unexpected. I fully get that, and that's fine. But it's like this. Oh, I'm gonna break it. It's just be patient, folks. If you're selling a car, be patient. Where have I got to? Mine's in 99 says, evening, Rob. Sorry for being late. Working away in Glasgow and living the dream in the Premier Inn. You don't have to apologise for being late. People can drift in and out as they please. But welcome. Which Premier Inn in Glasgow are you staying in? Are you staying in the what was the Gorbals area? Because I have stayed in the Premier Inn there, and it was quite nice actually. But welcome, mine to 99. Matt responds to Jimmy's question. Best car for me on the road was my Cooper ST. And round a track, I really like the Aston Martin Vantage. I hear good things about the Cooper SD. Someone round the corner from me's got one, or their daughter's got one, and that's a very nice car. Yeah, and Cooper the modern minis, the petrol Cooper S. I must say I saw a few on Sunday, and it reminded me how great they are to drive until they eat their clutches. But yeah, good choices, Matt. Pingu's was a 911 3.8S. That's a Porsche to those that I'm sure everyone knows that. Was interesting to drive, but not as bonkers as my Impreza STI. That's Impreza standard turbo intercooler. No other meaning of STI, of course. V2. Should have kept that one. Oh, it's one of those, Pingu, is it? I should have kept it. Pingu says correctly, in my opinion, lane assist and electronic handbrakes are the work of the devil for morons who should not have a license, in his opinion. I agree. Tom says he ended up going into the back of an ambulance in it due to the guy dropping it off and explaining nothing to you. Loved it when I had to give it back after buying the Jazz. I bet you did. Jazzes they're becoming good cars. They're really quite nice. Matt says the problem with Facebook groups is that 99% already have one or 5. Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think you've got to stick it on the right. You've got to market it right. Get the photographs right, and just get it on there and be patient. And yes, you may get 12 million likes from everyone who likes your, I don't know, City Rover that you're selling. But that doesn't mean you're going to sell it, because the people who are doing those 200 likes, as you rightly allude to, Matt, are the people who like that particular car. So get it on the market, get it gone. If you really need to sell it quickly, go to someone like, I don't know, car super duper dot will give you £1,000 less than it's worth. Tom says going from a simple manual Ibiza to that hire car, automatic gearbox as well, which is also a first, was not easy. Yeah, auto boxes they're okay. I don't mind automatics. I do not mind automatics. I think in the right car, they're a good thing to have. And of course, in some cars, you do not get a choice. I'm just wondering why there's a piece of broken glass on the table in front of me. We will deal with that shortly. Especially in a hire, because you've got this hire car, it's not even yours, and you get confronted with bells, whistles, automatic gearboxes, and batteries and stuff like that. And I bet you were glad to get out of that. Mine's in 99's Premier Inn is opposite John Lewis near the bus station, not the one I stayed in then. This was out of the city. And do they have? Have you been to the bar? Have you been to the? Do they still have like the Beefeater next door? It's been a long time since I stayed in the Premier Inn. Although I wish I had have stayed in the Premier Inn in Longbridge. Dinosaur Dad, and he's a man who knows, says the only good thing in the Gorbals is the road out. Maybe I'm getting the wrong district of Glasgow. Don't know. Matt Dickens, number plate legend, color expert, amongst other things, says at Pingu Concord, I had an Insignia with the e-brake. Horrible idea. I mean, how the hell are you supposed to handbrake turn? Exactly. I had an Audi A4 with an e-brake. And that was a good car, apart from the bloody e-brake. Sodding thing. Boaty wants City. I know he does. And I've nothing. I've nothing against City Rovers. I just wouldn't have one myself. I would not have one myself. If someone says, "Would you like a City Rover?" I would say "ta-ta," which is a pun. In case anyone didn't get it, Tom remembers Jeremy Clarkson suggesting that electric handbrakes were being introduced in an attempt to cut down on teenage pregnancy. Ha! Yeah, I get that because all the girls love a teenage boy doing a handbrake turn in his Escort XR3i, which I used to do in my Escort XR3i. Another car I had. Fantastic car. Not my favourite, but fantastic car. Stephen S. Paul says lane assist is very dark, very Orwellian. It is, isn't it? How does it work? How do they know you're drifting across a lane? Samuel Tyrrell asks, will you get a City Rover at any point, maybe to replace Kitten Face? I will take that question as two parts. In answer to the first part of the question, no. Even if I could tune it, no. Maybe to replace Kitten Face. I would like to replace Kitten Face in the future. But that's more likely to be with a Streetwise. Pingu asks, how much do you predict Boaty's repair bill will be for Das Stigbot? So for those of you who don't know Boaty's channel, Boaty basically drove over a traffic island, and fucked his MG ZT190, which he calls Stigbert or Stigbert von Thundercock with the umlauts, if we do it properly. Yeah, I think the front suspension's mangled, so that's all got to be replaced. The wheels are mangled, so if he's going to put straights or 11s on it, that's going to cost him some money. Yeah, it's going to be thousands to get that car put right, I'd imagine. And I don't know if there's any bodywork damage either. I don't know. He hasn't done a video on it since. So I am behind with YouTube videos, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of dosh, a lot of dosh. Simone says she hates electric handbrakes. More crap to go wrong. Yeah, exactly. The more bells and whistles, the more expensive it is for the mechanic to plug it into a computer to go, oh yeah, your electronic handbrake's knackered, mate. We can fix it in 3 months' time. Dinosaur Dad says Boaty also wants a Ukrainian wife but can't afford to eat or heat his house at the moment. Yes, true. A Ukrainian wife. Well, now there's a thought. City Rover Ukrainian wife. You know, which apples do you go for, eh? Jimmy Quinn is dreaming or is responding to something by saying dreaming. I'm not quite sure what I've lost. I've been rabbiting on, so I lose my thread a little bit. Matt Dickens says, bear with. Where's Lisa then? You've got a bear with you instead. Switching over to the Xbox from the computer, time for bed. I shall say beige leather interior over and over again in a seductive voice to help you drift off into the land of Nod, Matt. Pingu had a brand new Seat Arona thing last month as a courtesy car after my wife wrote off her car. Oops. It was so annoying to drive. I gave it back the next day and got back in my 90s bangers. It's all about the bangers. I don't even know or actually want to know what a Seat Arona is. I can't even picture one. Some Seats I like. I like the Ibiza, the kind of late 2000s noughties, I guess that time is, isn't it? They call it the noughties. Ibiza, especially like the FRs. They're very nice. Go-karty things. I'm quite a sucker for a Leon. Again, has to be the sporty model. Um, yeah, but yeah, Seattle Road, no. Simone says the handbrake in a 75 is terrible. Yeah, I don't trust I don't really trust handbrakes for in any vehicle, to be honest. I always leave a car in gear, any car. Yeah, my Saab, I had a 9.3 and you couldn't I remember this feature. I had two Saabs actually. I had two Saab 9.3s and you couldn't get the keys out of the ignition without leaving so you had to leave the car in reverse to be able to get the keys out of the ignition. It was quite a typical Scandi safety feature, but I thought quite clever. Pingu says that Simone that all of the BMW parts on a 75 are terrible. Yeah, plastic inlet manifold on the KV6. I mean, seriously? Yeah, if you've got a 2.5 KV6, for God's sake, make sure you buy now a spare variable length inlet manifold in case yours becomes rattly. Because there's a market. I don't know how many KV6 cars are still on the road. There's a lot, and it's not like your 420 GSI where there's 20 left or whatever it is. But yeah, there's certainly probably thousands of 75s and ZTs and Freelanders and whatever else the KV6 went into around. So someone can make probably quite a tidy sum by inventing not a spectacular throttle body like a Gen V setup that's going to cost thousands, but improving on the inlet manifold setup on the KV6. When they work, they're brilliant. As I found out, as I reminded myself of when I collected the 190 earlier and went off for a lovely 40-mile drive in it. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I don't digress. I amplify on Pingu's point about BMW parts. BMW, I believe, who insisted upon the plastic variable length inlet manifold. Stephen S. Paul never did handbrake turns as a youngster. Better late than never. There we are. You're never too old to learn a new skill, if there's any skill involved in it, which I believe there is. Simone hooked from Hooked on Classics would go for the Ukrainian wife over the City Rover. Yeah, I'm definitely for definitely that way. I've just had a message on the messenger. I shall read it out because I believe it is from one of our friends. It is from Simon Jeffries from Project MGTF, who is clearly at band camp this evening. So if you've got a flute, watch it. But Simon is asking how the live stream is going. Unless he's still in the zoo, Simon still could be in the zoo. So if we haven't heard from him by this time tomorrow, then we better go to this dinosaur Jurassic theme park, Miss Hubnut Hutch place, wherever it is up in Yorkshire, and make sure he's not stuck in there. But Pingy says apparently Boaty can sort you out one of those wives. Okay, I shall ask him on Sunday if the mood takes me, because I believe Boaty is also going to the Furious driving meetup at the Motorist in Sherbert in Helmet. Pingu says, didn't the KV6 start out in the Rover 800? It did. It did. And I think the ones in the 800 were hand built, so had a very variable quality. But I've got a feeling that that because that was pre BMW ownership, they had an alloy variable length inlet manifold. So I think they had problems in other ways because they were built by built by hand, so they had unreliability issues. But I'm pretty certain, and there's no doubt someone out there, but not necessarily on this chat, who is more knowledgeable. But I'm pretty sure they had an alloy inlet manifold. So we can research that further, Pingu. Simone says, just don't put petrol in the Ukrainian wife. No, no. Um, Pingu thinks that Simon's been caged. It could well have been. Um, uh, Tom says, looking forward to seeing the 190 on the channel now it's done. What's your next plan for your cars? Goodness. I'm not going to give everything away on here because I have to have something up my sleeve so that when you do watch my videos, you get a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, the 190 I'm quite happy to share. So I mean, I have to give Austin, who was on the chat, I don't know if he's still there, the credit because he's done a cracking job. So he's so basically I got the car from Nottinghamshire for 400 quid, drove it back at 50 miles an hour tops, 100 miles home because there were no brakes. No brakes, well, the exhaust had holes in every section, including the front pipe. Load of stuff. So I did the brakes. I got the exhaust done. Nibbled. Then Austin's done the rest. So the still repaired. So the jacking points had rotted out. So that was changed. He's done the headlining for me, which is really good. So the only thing left to do on that car is one little job that I'll do myself, which is the rear light seals because it's got a wet boot or damp boot. I shouldn't say wet. It's just a little bit damp. So I just need to do the light seals on that. And I need to get a double din radio put in it. I'm not going to do it myself because I'm useless with car audio unless it is literally plug and play. But I want to get a double din so I can, because that's not my daily car, because my daily car is strictly my company car. But that is I need to go off here. That is the car I would use. So I want a car I want it to have a head unit with sat nav, Google, mirroring, Apple mirroring, whatever it's called, CarPlay. That's the one. So I can have the Google Maps sat nav, which I like, digital radio, which I like, so I can listen to Magic or the ones you can't get on FM, basically. And that is pretty much it. I think we need to get the belts done at some point because I'm not sure when they've been done because there was no history with the car whatsoever. Probably get the oil flushed back in November, so we'll get that done again because the engine was not, the oil had not been changed for a very long time. So yeah, it's just keeping it on top of it. So BRM is headlining, body panels. They will need a little bit of welding towards the back end of the year for the MOT, just a tiny bit. And the BRM is really just getting it, not concourse because I don't do that with cars, but just get it so there's nothing other than routine stuff needing doing to it. 260 is the same. It's obviously we've got a couple more issues to go into, which I've already kind of mentioned about the air cleaner. Obviously, the clutch is now now number one priority, whereas the rough running was number one until the clutch finally packed up. Yeah, a few jobs to do on that. ZTT, that's unknown. What's going to happen with that? Don't know yet. And the TF, it needs new fog lights and it needs the oil changing. That is all that needs doing to the TF. So I didn't buy the TF as a project. I bought that for me to enjoy, and I will. Dinosaur thinks there's a troll at the zoo. I know Simon didn't think he spotted one, but I think one snuck up and grabbed him. Pingu says shock and ore tactics, Rob. Yeah, shock and ore as in iron ore. Matt confirms. Yeah, so on the Rover 800, it was an alloy inlet, so it wasn't the BMW plastic variable length inlet, but with twin throttle bodies. That makes me want to drive a KV6 800 now. See what it's like. Yeah, I don't know. I might know someone with an 825. Not sure. It's all about the 820 Ti for me. Simone asks, Dinosaur Dad, a very, very good question. Dinosaur Dad, are you dad of a dinosaur? It's a fair question. Stephen S. Paul, boot, you mean trunk? I do. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, hood, trunk. I know it's all different. Color, flavor. It must be very confusing to hear someone with received pronunciation English talking the way I do, like governor, innit? Dunstone is definitely a dad and a bit of an old fart. And that's where the comments end. My question was going to be to you. I did ask it at the beginning, and I don't want to get into a massive debate now, but a mass because it is 10:30. Goodness, the last hour and a half has flown by, and I want to try and wrap up in about 20-25 minutes to let you dust yourselves off. For those that I've lulled to sleep, I hope I've done my job by saying beige leather interior in a slightly seductive, if not menacing voice over and over again. But for those of you who are going to be up for a little bit longer and need Boaty's dulcet tones, then I want to give you that 10 minutes to mentally, physically, and beveragely prepare yourself for Boaty's live stream. Tom, so I'll put these glasses on. Tom asks, will you do a video on the TF about how to remove the hardtop for the summer? Not aware of any videos on it. Wish I'd had a hardtop my old MX-5 that lived outside. I will, Tom. I think that's actually a it's quite. I mean, it's quite a simple thing to do, I believe. But I will need some help because it's one thing I do know is that it's definitely a two-man job. Because Neil, the previous owner of the TF that I've now got, tried to do it on his own, ended up dropping it on the car and causing a tiny little scratch. So yeah, it's definitely a two-man job. So I need to enlist some help, and I've got to decide where to put it as well. Because the obvious place for it is in my lounge, and I can put what I want in my lounge. But I'm going to be stripping the plaster off the front wall because there's a bit of damp where someone's botched the front garden concrete previously and concreted over the damp-proof course, which is really intelligent for those of you who know about how buildings should or shouldn't go together. There's a bit of water in my front wall, so I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to take some plaster off. So that makes it less likely to be able to store it in there. But yeah, I will do that video. It's a very long answer to a very simple question. Tom, will I do a video? Rob, answer is yes, I will. Elephant trunks are at the front, says Simone to Stephen S. Paul. Tom's MX-5 got mouldy and damp. Yeah, that can happen. Simone says a good chat as always, Rob. Thank you very much, Simone. Stephen S. Paul says, sneakers, trainers, you people and your damn Queen's English. Well, there we are. And trainers is an abbreviation. So I think the correct word is actually training shoes, if I'm being pedantic about it. Jimmy Quinn says, excellent live stream, Rob. Thank you, Jimmy. Tom says, storing hardtops can be a massive pain in the arse. I've got one for the Spitfire that has to live in the house, which can be annoying. Yeah, I've got an idea that it can go in my bay window. I've actually got an old, the old passenger seat from the 190. So I replaced the seats in my 190 before Christmas, and I've kept the passenger seat. It's actually in good nick, and no one's bought it, which is I'm not surprised about because it's people want a set of seats, not one, especially not the passenger seat. So I'm actually going to turn it into like a swivel chair when I get around to it. So I'm thinking of resting the hardtop on that seat, so it's got something nice to sit on. That's my really neat plan that my cleaning lady will not thank me for. Pingu Concord says, smash that like button and Boaty will enter you into his prize draw for a fresh Ukrainian rife. Well, you guys have got to smash my like button. Again, that sounds sexual. And it was meant to. But yes, no, please, if you haven't already done so, smash the like button. And please watch my videos all the way through because my watch hours are coming up. So thank you those who are watching the beard. This is like a product placement moment. The Beards and Bangers complete playlist. But yeah, please do watch my old and do watch my old videos anyway, because the sound quality's appalling. Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I'd love somebody to have a laugh at my expense. Where have we got to? Simone asked Stephen a question. Tom's mum hated me when she was decorating the room at the store. I bet she did. And I bet you hated her when she splashed paint all over it as well, which I'm sure she wouldn't do because she's probably a wonderful painter, like mum. My mum is as well. My mum can decorate a house in seconds. It's incredible. 5-foot pocket rocket going with a paintbrush. And it's brilliant how it ends up. Dinosaur likes that these are a prop. These glasses will feature in a video, probably with Project MGTF in the next few days. Because Simon, he likes a prop, and I've been thinking of a couple of my videos are quite serious. That my channel is semi-serious, but I've got a couple of ideas that Simon and I may well present in the future. So yeah, I think these glasses are great too. So no problem, Tom. Yeah, any video requests, if I can do it, I will do it within reason. Video requests. That sounds possibly pornographic. Matt Dickens says I could try and find the MG Rover hardtop hangers for your garage. If I had a garage, then I would almost certainly rush out and buy the MG Rover hardtop hangers. But I don't think the council will be happy if I hang it from a lamp. Now that actually, do you know what? I pay enough bloody council tax. If I want to hang my hardtop from a lamppost, I bloody well will. Obviously, hard headlining down so it doesn't get damp and fall off again. Stephen S. Paul, more again, the difference between American English and English. Chips, potato, chips, crisps. When does it stop? I think our European cousins have the same problem because what the French call chips, frites. Which is more like fries. So so fries are chips are crisps. But potato is potato, as far as I'm aware. Tomato, potato, tomato, potato, blah, 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 however it goes. Simone says that's a fab idea. Yes, a fresh Ukrainian wife. Dinosaur, here we have chips, and chips, potato, hot, and poker. So they're all in Australia. They simplified things. So yeah, they just call everything chips. Pingu has left my videos playing at night. I genuinely, I'm not going to make a joke. I appreciate that because it is appreciated. Tom's going to hit the sack. Thanks for a great live stream. We'll definitely be back for more. Yeah, Wednesdays 9 p.m. Regardless of whether we're in daylight saving or British summertime, Tom. I will be adding a Saturday live stream at some point, but not yet because I think there's car shows like every weekend for the next God knows how, all summer pretty much. So but yeah, Tom, thank you for coming on. Nice to see you. And do keep in touch. Matt Dickens throws one down in front of Stephen S. Paul. Biscuits. To us, biscuits are rich tea, digestive. Sweet biscuits, what I guess in America are exclusively called cookies. But of course, in America, biscuits are what we would call scones or scones, depending on where you are. But more like our cheese scones, which are the savory version. And I believe in the US, biscuits are something that one eats with one's bacon and eggs, which you cook either easy, over easy, or Very easy. Like Sharon from Watford. Um, Pingu Concord says you should make a series of videos documenting your Ukrainian wife shopping and test drives. Will be a Ukrainian wife shopping and test drive. It will be a hit. Could be like a yes, it could be like a self documentary, couldn't it? Yes, and then the final episode would be Oksana threatening to cut my cock and balls off and plant them in the garden with the potatoes if I buy another Rover. Stephen S. Paul likes that. Pingu Concord says maybe do a live thingy while you are en route to a faraway car show. That is a good idea. The only thing I was thinking was how would the comments work? So I'd have to have a buddy, I guess, with an iPad connected so they could read me the comments so that I could speak. Unless I just literally monologued for the whole journey. I won't be doing that on Saturday because Saturday's going to be kind of a bit of a stop-start affair with getting up to Yorkshire. And I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm just debating whether to take Bram or the 190. I know I said I was going to take Bram, but so Bram's little bottom is just a little bit firm. But Dinosaur says or live from the Furious Meet for 30 minutes. We could do, yeah, okay. Might be that's because Sunday is not a rush because don't need to rush back to get ready for work because of course we've got the first of a series of bank holidays on Monday, so I can be quite relaxed with my drive back on Sunday. So yeah, okay, we'll do some, do both. We'll do both. Why not? They're good ideas. They're good ideas. Which wife will he pick finale? Oh, we could have fun with this, couldn't we? Yeah. Will it be Oksana, Svetlana, Alexandra, or Tatiana? Which one will it be? Won't be Sharon from Watford, that's for sure. Well, hasn't this been lovely? I didn't do my steak and the correct sauce or not sauce to have with steak. So we'll do that next week. And I'll try and work out how to do these poll thingies on here. Live when you stop for a break at the service, etc. Okay, we'll try it and we'll see who joins in. Which I will stop at service stations regularly to stretch one's legs. Apparently, it's a good idea just to stop at every service station, walk around your car. That is enough to loosen up all your muscles. Boaty live in 20-ish minutes. So yeah, I'm Rob takes a wee live. What could be the title of that? Nothing to see here. Or Rob steps up to the urinal and goes, room for an inch. Yeah, we could do stuff like that, couldn't we? Yeah, I probably won't show my penis on YouTube live because that would possibly break some kind of guidelines. Dinosaur Dad says, give us a shout Sunday. It's his birthday. Well, Dinosaur Dad, happy birthday in advance for Sunday. But I will try and remember that on Sunday. But yeah, obviously it won't be your birthday when it's our morning, unless you're, I don't know, I'm getting confused now with time zones. I'll just wish you on Sunday when I'm vertical and coherent, I will mention your birthday. That's for sure. That is for sure. But yes, I'll do some. Yeah, might do a couple of impromptu lives over the weekend. It's Lisa's on Monday too. I did spot that on Facebook earlier, but I've not had a chance to look at that event. And I think the car show Lisa was on about is quite near me in Woburn Green, which is a little village between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield. Yes, we'll do that, Dinosaur Dad. Mad Dickens said, yeah, so Lisa, yeah, sorry, I'm reading the comments twice. Lisa's on Monday to say happy birthday on Monday to Lisa, Sunday to Dinosaur Dad. Pingu says happy birthday to Dinosaur Dad by saying happy escaping the womb day. Now, that to me is that to me in German would be one word because it's a very practical way of saying the day you were born. So I'll have to translate that and make it into one word in German, which I can't quite do at this time of night. Stephen S. Paul does lots of emojis of cakes and streamers and stuff. Maybe, or is it pinatas? Can't really see. Oh, Matt Dix is Woolmer Green near Nebworth. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of the village of Woburn Green, which is near High Wycombe. So you're talking about the village of Woolmer Green, which you think is near Nebworth. I probably won't be out and about on Monday, because I'll probably have a day's rest. Yeah. Dinosaur Dad is thrilled that people are wishing him a happy birthday and says shucks, which isn't Sean Connery saying sucks. Shucks. Yeah, she shucks that lollipop. Yeah. Pingu Concord asks, what spec of Ukraine wife would you prefer, Simone? We should let Simone answer that. I didn't realise there was a spec of a Ukraine wife, Pingu. Is it in the brochure? Does the audio in wife audio have a different brochure? Do tell us. I'd like to know. So I'm going to wrap this up in 4 minutes. So if you've got something to say, bloody well say it now, because I want to give you that little bit of time to recover from the onslaught that is my live stream, and then get yourself ready for Boaties, if indeed you are going on Boaties live stream, which I think most of the people here probably will. So it's like Rover 7. So Ukrainian wives are graded in the same way as 75s. Club SE, Connie Tura. Simone says, keep fit windows, not stereo, lots of comfort. Keep fit windows, eh? Okay. Dinosaur Dad says, knock, knock. Who's there? Dinosaur Dad. Matt Dickens says, what is this Boaty? Boaty is another channel called Boaty's World. Boaty's World is a mixed affair of food, comedy, smut, and Starlight Silver MG Rover cars. The latest of which is a Freelander. I know he's got rid of a couple, but yeah, Boaty's channel's worth a check out. So yeah, our community channels are Boaty's World, Hooked on Classics, Project MGTF. Who have I forgotten? Mr. F is a channel, very good. Robson Rover Repair, I think, is one of them. Car Crazy Norwegian, Sven's channel. There's a few. So I've got if you look on my playlist, there's a friends and community channels playlist, which has got some of the other YouTubers on it. But that is what this Boaty is. Simone says Boaty is an acquired taste. Matt Dickens says smut. I'm there. Absolutely, we do like a bit of smut. Oh, I forgot mustard. Apologies, Paul. Project Nigel, who is quite well known, I think, or certainly Nigel the car is. Yeah, but Project Nigel's another one. Yeah, all of those channels that all what I just mentioned, but forgot mustard. Are on my community. I think the playlist is called Community and Friends videos or something like that. But watch that after you've watched my entire Beards and Bangers complete collection playlist, please. Boaty is Boaty, says Stephen S. Paul. Dishes is the answer to the next part of knock knock. Who's there? Dishes. Dishes who? We'll let Dinosaur finish that joke off. Pingu says Boaty is a bit of a carry-on character, and he did post quite a funny thing on his Facebook yesterday about there was that quote from Carry On Up the Khyber about the governor, Sir Sidney, I don't know what he's called, the Qazi of Kashmir or something like that. It's quite funny. Simone says, "Don't worry, we're a bit odd, or were a bit odd. Not quite sure on that one. But dishes who? What's the next bit? What's the next bit to your joke, Dinosaur Dad? Come on, let's get this punchline before we knock this live stream on the head. But yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I'll be back for my full live at 9 o'clock next Wednesday, which will be the pre-coronation live stream, not the pre-coronation street live stream. Yeah, and then we'll do some impromptu lives over the weekend, especially on Sunday to wish Dinosaur Dad a happy birthday. And here we go. Here's Dinosaur Dad's punchline. Dishes Bond, James Bond. Yeah, yeah. Did nothing better than a good Sean Connery impersonation. I don't think, anyway. And that probably sounded more like, I don't know, Sid James's character in no Kenneth Williams' character in Carry On Like the Khyber. Anyway, but yeah, yeah. So there'll be a video out Friday. There'll be more videos out next week. So thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, I won't end up in hospital again between now and next week. I do hope not, because I'm going to Yorkshire, and I might get stuck in a zoo with Simon. So, have a lovely rest of the evening and the week. Devils in skirts, says Simone. And yeah, thank you for participating. Thank you for your time. Merci pour votre attention, and good night. Bad Books says good evening right at the end. So to Bad Books, it's hello und gute Nacht. But I will see you all again very soon, and I will keep drinking lots of water. Goodbye.